Where the stars shine bright, Dallas Cowboys rising, ready for the fight. Primetime feeling, game time, Bryan on the scene. Offense so dominant, know what I mean. CD and Pick is a dynamic duo. One-on-one coverage, steal the show. You cover one, but can't handle both. Defenders in trouble, they're in the grove. Christian Bucker leads the breathing defense. With Quentin and Kenny, they're reinforcements. Body goes Randy, stopping the run. Great Wall of Dallas, they're second to none. A leader of men. In the huddle, he's got in them again. Primetime Studio. We're bringing that heat. With every touchdown, we're dancing on our feet. This is our season. We're ready to thrive in the heart of the game. We're alive.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and our other host, Gametime Bryan, is in the house. What's going on, Gametime? How you doing, man?
Wow. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Come one, come all. What's up, Phil? How are you, brother? What's going on?
Doing well, man. About an hour ago, my girl was like, "It's getting hot in the house," and I realized that the AC unit was out. Called the AC unit. Obviously, it's not an emergency, so I don't want to be charged extra. You know, our plan covers it. So I got to start whipping out the portable AC units and getting that going. You know how that can be, and just the vents to the windows and drainages and all that kind of stuff. But I got a system already. Yeah. When you live in Florida, you got to have something to backup plan because, man, it gets hot up in here. But anyways, Bryan, it's been forever since we've done a show together. I am excited about this one because, like before, the training camp coming up here. Here we go, man. That we're going to do our weekly stuff here on this channel is coming back around. Yes, and so whether it's Friday, Saturday, and even if we have to squeeze it in on a Sunday, we're going to do that as we come back now as on a weekly basis, talking whatever, pulling whatever out of our ass as we as those in between. But otherwise, right now going into training camp, how are you feeling about the state of the franchise going into training camp?
Well, I'm excited that football is back, first and foremost. I think that there are a lot of things that they need to get going in the right direction. I think that, there's, how it is with me. I wish we had done a little more, but, I think it's a lot of new pieces. Season of optimism, Phil. I need to see a lot between now and September.
Amen.
To get where a lot of you guys are. I want to be there. I think it's going to be a work in progress. I do. But that being said, football's back, babe.
Yeah, I think you're like me. You got to see, again, I think we talked about it, obviously, in this channel, where you got to see people in space, how they react when the offense is doing their thing, the defense is doing their thing. How are you reacting to that, to their schemes? Obviously, preseason, very vanilla. But even with that vanilla, how are you keeping up with the speed of the game? I think there is, and obviously, when you get hyped about it, it's the potential. It's obviously every single team, you're looking at the potential of your team. But then, reality starts to hit. Once you start seeing these guys train, injuries start to happen. Unfortunately, it's a part of the game that we all don't want to deal with, but unfortunately, it is part, as we see already people, whether it's the Rams, there's already been some people around the league. A Carolina Panther linebacker, I think, was out as an ACL tear.
Nick Scorton out.
So not something that we like to see, even if it's a team that we are having to compete against. It's still something you want to see every team at their best when you're going against them, even including your team. So that sucks. But otherwise, it is part of the game, and so that's why you have as deep as a roster. But that's where your rookies are going to have to play at some point, right? Whether you're going to have to play them now, whether you're going to play later on in the season, preseason is where you're going to get your eye on it.
It's one of those things where, all the talk, is coming to an end now, right? All the offseason hype and reality is starting to set in. I think we're a better team, a lot better team. But with the schedule that we got, they need to get going in the right direction, get on the same page, and build on just a foundation between now and the start of the season. And they don't have time to F around and find out. They they start out in New York, come home against the Washington Commanders, and then go to Brazil to play the Ravens. Again, exciting, yes. Daunting, yes. But it is exciting, and I think most teams in the NFL are dealing with a certain level of this. Again, it all depends how much change, and I think the I have some numbers that we can get into. I heard this morning that was pretty darn incredible, but yeah, I'm just cautiously optimistic that they're going to be able to be good defensively out of the gate. That's where I'm at, and there's a lot of meat on the bone on that offense that they can improve upon, and we could talk about that. So I'm excited about it. But if we, Phil, it's like it's here. It's like Christmas morning. It's you wait, you build up the anticipation, you wait, and then it's here, and then it's almost like, oh, it's here.
Oh, yeah.
Are we ready? Did we get all the gifts we needed for under the tree? Is everybody going to be happy?
There's going to be a couple of cool things in your stocking. Don't worry about that. So it looks like in the chat we have, of course, Clemente in the house, Jeff Lee, Arturo, CZ, Haley,
Jimbo.
You always got to you got to cipher through what these names are, and you got to kind of put who you know is there.
Hallie Pierce.
Jimbo, you said, let's see, I'm going down here.
Because Worley ain't no quarterback out there.
I saw my cousin Vinny, Uncle Drew
coming. Let's go, Dad.
See, as I'm going through, I'm going really fast down there. Chris May is in the house. I think I saw him as well there. Let's see. I want to make sure I got everybody as well too. So I appreciate everybody coming through. Of course, we haven't had any kind of set pattern. There hasn't been anything there, so I'm not in the algorithm. But you know what? Eventually I'm going to get my shit together and we're going to get into this algorithm. But one thing that we are going to is we're trying to get Dallas in. Are they going to get themselves into the algorithm of the playoffs, or of the algorithm of the possible championship, of the possible team, of a possible just a good start in this? Because everybody in this division has a really tough schedule. Again, that whole thing where, you had a bad year, you're going to have a really good schedule, a favorable schedule. That seems to be right out the window. I don't think any of that matters at all. I think they just put a schedule together and they're just, that's the thought process of it, of course. But unless it's some kind of like structured thing, like, the playoffs, like, the top team takes on the bottom team, unless it's structured like that, there's never going to be anything. It's almost like Madden itself could make a better schedule and they just copied it or something like, that was my job. Yeah. But anyways, Brian, as we go into this, I mean, a lot of teams, like we were talking about with the injuries as well, we have some on this team. We have some lingering ones. We have some ones that, we talk about Ravel in the sense of how he's going to be looking, coming back bland with his foot. It takes about 2 years with that foot and everything. Now it's kind of the half, like that push for that end of that second year where that's a half a year before it's already 2 years with the foot. But then with the surgeries and stuff, you don't really know where they're at. Yeah. Secondary, of course, having some stuff there. What do you feel in the sense of, with these health issues, even Overshone? I mean, even as much as like I love Overshone and how he is, that's a health concern thing there too.
Yeah, listen, the Marvin Overshone, big year for him. I'm looking around saying, who's getting the contract during training camp? Because there's somebody getting a contract during training camp. Make no mistake. I think I know who it is. But Overshone, I think they will wait and see. He needs to prove he can stay healthy first and foremost. And now we're throwing on he's going to be the green dot linebacker. I love it. But again, you
can you trust him to be there? Yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, it needs to be consistent. A guy that you kind of know is going to be there throughout the season because, maybe somebody else calls that. I'm not going to say they called it differently, but maybe they see something differently, or because Overshone's on the field, maybe your responsibilities is just a little bit different than when another linebacker's on there. Maybe you're doing the rushing because Overshone's not doing as much on the coverage. So a lot of that changes, but this being a contract year, even if he was to perform, I mean, how do you feel about giving him a contract with that? I'd still be extremely hesitant, and I would need him to be healthy for a couple of years before I would ever feel comfortable about giving him a contract. So this might be the last year you might see, Overshown in a Cowboys uniform, if something like that was to happen. What would you be, if he did have a whole healthy year, would you feel comfortable re-signing him?
Yeah, I would look to resign him now, but it would, I don't see it because they're going to want more than what I would offer. So
Hmm.
he needs to play. Overshown now that David Mulligetta, agent, player. That's fine. Athletes first. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that he won't be back. But um, I mean, it's just yet another thing that we have to overcome. I think you know how this is going to play out, everybody. He's going to ball out this year, and then we'll overpay like we probably should have signed him, before the season. He's going to have a fine year. Health, being said, I think he's going to be fine. I really do. I think he's going to be better than average, and I think he'll remain a Cowboy. Dallas likes to keep their own, but he is one of many guys on this team that need to step up. Now, my thing to you is, we talk about Overshown. What is your thought about? And we'll stick on the defense because
Hmm.
I I'm wanting to go to the offense. I'm wanting to go, and I have some glaring questions about the offense. But you brought him up, yeah, Deron Bland. We hear he's looking good. He's ready to go. He's yet again another guy where. Are we relying on Deron Bland, or do you think we have enough without him? I don't think we do. I think we need Deron Bland to be on point. Yes.
Well, I mean, when you're taking up as much of him as a contract as he is, yeah, we definitely need him to be on point. Again, coming off the injury, how long ago it was just he's been lingering with it. That's one of those injuries that just you don't know when it's going to go away. Unfortunately, if it
The
does,
screw shifted. They had to pull it out and put another screw in.
uh,
So that's what
delayed,
happened.
you know,
Yeah, it's that it's in that part of the foot where there's not a lot of blood flow, which is they put a screw in to just make it strong. But again, I'm more concerned about that because if not, then you're like, okay, well, if Deron Bland is not what we think he's going to be, now you're really
the thing about
relying
it is the
on
only way I feel
Savon
comfortable
Ravel.
is all of them are healthy to the point where only one can go down during the game, pop up. It's gotta be a rotational thing. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be one of
Yeah.
those things where I could almost put money on it right now that I don't think Bland goes 100% through the season, hitting every single game. Ravel hitting every single game. Carson hitting every single game. Butler hitting every single game. Like I can keep going. I mean, Stewart, Reddy, or whatever his name is that going to be one
Yeah.
of those
Reddy
things?
Stewart.
Reddy
Yeah.
Stewart or whatever
Well,
that. Like
yeah.
those guys, even when they're flashing, I don't expect
Well,
any of
this is
them to
what
be
I'm looking
available
at.
for all the games.
Yeah, I'm looking at him to start, and I keep bringing this guy up, but Kobe Durant, who signed a 1 year, I believe, 5 million fully guaranteed deal, it was a steal because of all the extra moves that the Rams did and they brought in. He's not getting a lot of love, Kobe Durant. He did lead the NFL in postseason interceptions last year. Kobe Durant from the Los Angeles Rams led all players in the playoffs in the interceptions were three. He had three postseason interceptions last year. I believe if I had to call it, he's going to start opposite who. Now they play nickel more than most. We're hearing how great that the seatbelt's looking. We hear all that. But who is going to definitely be there? Is it going to be Deron Bland? If I told you it was Deron Bland and Kobe Durant with Savon Ravel, then you add in the other guys, how would you feel?
Uh,
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I think Kobe Durant is starting on the outside this year.
yeah. Yeah, I could definitely
I
see that Bland, Durant, and then Ravel, whether it's rotational
Yeah.
itself.
Just to get Ravel in there. Ravel did play in 7 games, but he was nowhere near 100% with that knee brace. So, again, these are all questions that we have, not to mention Devin
What's up,
Moore,
Parker?
right, Phil? We got Devin Moore. We got Kalen Carson. We have plenty of bodies. Reddy Stewart. Um, but
Trust me,
who's going to
man.
step up? You know,
I asked my boy Tyler if reach out and stuff. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know
too
if he
late now.
now he's
It's
over
over
now
now.
he's a Cowboy and he got a
Yeah,
big head about it.
yeah,
I hope he is. I hope he's a little bit of
yeah,
an ass. I need a corner that's a dick out there. Just kind of just like, man, you ain't gonna do shit out in this secondary. Like
yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Well,
But
they're
no,
looking great. He's
I'm gonna
looking
keep
great.
knocking on that door,
Yeah,
man. Don't worry. I'm gonna keep knocking on that door.
yeah, yeah.
uh,
But
But no,
yeah,
no,
but
I
yeah,
think
I'm
that's a great thing
excited.
that
But
you say
that's a
that. I mean, because when you look at
yeah,
when I look at it the same way, when you look at the secondary and you look at the wide receiver core, yes, specialties type of players. There's two guys there that are very, very young rookies. And obviously Devin Moore, and then the wide receiver that you're talking about, Anthony Smith, that you brought up. I just keep hearing people on him and his the football brain that he
yeah. I
has.
heard a lot of yeah. That
So
was a
I'm
big
interested.
topic. Who's going to make the team? I think he
Somebody's going to
makes
get
the
cut.
team. I think
Yes. Yeah,
Anthony
I
makes
definitely
the
think
team.
so. I think
I
somebody
think
like
he
my
makes
guy
it. I think
Holden
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
gets cut, so I
And then
think a guy
brought to
that
the
we like.
practice squad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah.
it's going to be like that. Um,
Or Mingo doesn't make
oh,
it.
yeah, I think Mingo could
Everybody's
be out.
you know. I
Mingo
mean,
ate me
Jonathan Mingo.
baby.
Hey, Mingo ate my baby. Yeah. I mean, we're all over the place,
A
but
Mingo ate me offense.
that's kind of how I feel though. When we talk about it, everybody goes, "Well, how you feel?" I feel great. I feel like our offense can improve so much compared to where it was. But it's all about the defense. I mean, when you dig into it, they need to be ready to roll. That's all. It's when you have a lockdown defense. You know what I'm looking for as we get ready for camp. Are we going to hear early on in training camp, Phil, that the defense is winning some days or some practices? If
Yeah,
we
I
can
think you
hear
could.
that the defense is winning, then we're in the right. Then we're on the right path. If
Yeah.
we hear that, well, the defense is behind, the defense is getting torched, then I think we all need to reevaluate. But and not that it
But
won't
then
be better
again, I
when the
mean,
season's,
and I mean to
you
take
know.
Drew's point from before, I mean that means also, hey, there's always a possibility that the offense took a step back, as the defense was taking a step forward. So yeah, these are things you have to keep your mind open to as things are coming out. Oh, that great offensive play. Well, guess what? That defense sucked ass in that play, or vice versa. So yes, you want it to be balanced, just because you do not want one side of the ball just totally dominating the other one, because that's going to be a totally bad season in the
Yeah.
incoming. But anyways, as we go into this, I really want to kind of talk about each position, talk about what we think about it.
Okay.
So we can go from the beginning, from the top, all the way for the quarterback position. Who do you think is going to be our starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? Milton?
Knock on wood. Knock on wood. It will be Dak Prescott playing all 17 football games. That's knock on wood. Let's hope he's healthy for all of them. It hasn't been
Yeah, I
always a
mean, he
thing
has
to
to
have
be
back
healthy.
to
That's
back.
not; those are never always
Yeah.
guaranteed at anything at all. He takes one play for all of a sudden there's something to happen. We've seen it in past with him, and so you kind of take it for granted. But you're hoping that he stays healthy. I love the line, at least that it's a competent line in the sense. I love the front. The tackles are, but at least they're serviceable. Even with the backups as well, very serviceable. I'm interested to see. I can't say he's going to take a leap forward. It's just a leap forward. Unfortunately, he's going to have to come into the playoffs. He's going to come into, if he makes it there, makes it to the actual playoffs. Can he step up? Can he do it? Can he take his team? Can he push it? So that's going to be a lot of questions, and that's going to be when he answers it. Unfortunately, anything that he's doing in the season, if it's top MVP type of performance, ain't going to matter worth of anything. So,
Yeah.
obviously, we with Dak. Now, going into it, I heard Will Grier is on the coaching staff for quarterback thing.
Yeah, Will Grier, who just recently retired from the NFL,
I'm a Will
has
Grier
now
fan.
joined the coaching staff. Yes.
I like it.
Dallas has put together a staff that's deep. Pause. I mean, let's remember they have Ken Dorsey on the staff as well that they've added since last year.
And
So
Dak
Ken Dorsey
and Dak has done
Dion,
very
just on
well
the
when he's
offensive
had
side.
those coaches that have been ex quarterbacks. Now, obviously, we're Greer. I'm not going to say that he's been like this all-star type of thing, but he's found success in the NFL. and he knows how things are supposed to be done. Now, whether reading coverages and all that kind of stuff is a different story. But at the same time, when you're reading plays, reading stuff off of a tablet, trust me, he's as good as they come. So I'm very excited about that. And I think again, Dak performs very well when he has the other quarterback in that in that coaching staff there. That's kind of helping him as well too. So I down all the way back to the days of Sanchez was even there, wasn't it, at one point?
Yeah.
Sanchez
was there. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm thinking this correctly, but maybe I'm thinking with Romo was he was a Seattle quarterback. I can't think he was a coach as well.
Oh,
I can't think
You're thinking of the brothers, right? The brothers.
The Hasselbeck? No, not.
Yeah, not Hasselbeck.
Oh gosh, I can't think of his name. Kitna, right? John Kitna. That's what I was thinking of.
John Kitna.
Yeah.
Johnny Kitna.
Was he with Dak or was that with Romo? I can't remember if that was. I can't remember now.
I think he was with Dak. I think he was with Dak.
So yeah, so I think I tend to think about that. I kind of associate with those. If you have the other
I see your
quarterback.
boy got cut. Diego Pavia.
Yes, I would be okay with. I would definitely be okay with signing that. I'm interested to know why he got cut.
The latest is the hot take is that Joe Milton gets cut. Your thoughts?
I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that if you have another quarterback that's competent. If you had I would be okay with that. I don't think
that's
is he your starting
hot take
as of right now. If I was to say it right now, is he your starting quarterback in 3 years?
No.
Yeah. All right, then get him fuck out. Like, he don't need to be here. Like, if he's the third quarterback, that's what that third quarterback is, your project future quarterback. And unfortunately, if he doesn't have the accuracy to the end, then get him out of here. Gotta get him out of here.
I mean, I was watching. I don't know what I was listening to, but they were talking about the best backups in the league, and the 49ers ranked at the top as the best backup quarterback.
Then they have
Mac Jones. Yes.
Jones, yeah. Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones, who had the combined quarterback rating they led the league last year between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. So Milton don't know about him because Worley. Yeah, again, I love the arm. We all love the arm. Love the personality. It's just, I don't know.
I will always say it. He reminds me of the Mighty Ducks, that one guy that just shoots that one shot. He's like, 1 out of 5 will be accurate.
Yeah. It's just, we don't know where it's going necessarily. And sometimes I think it's cool to have a guy on your staff who could come in and win you a game. He's awesome in a game. If Dak misses a month, we're in trouble, right? But the good thing is most teams don't have a competent backup. Yeah. Or they don't have a great situation. Most of the teams, that's where you have to rely on your defense, right? And that's where all eyes on me, in the words of Tupac, all eyes are on Christian Parker and that defense getting up to speed and helping that offense out. I think if the defense can be better than it was last year, not giving up the big play, not giving up 3 points per possession, Phil. It's amazing how they weren't the last rated defense, ranked defense overall, but they were.
Arturo. He's still with the 49ers. Yeah.
Mac Jones is still with the 49ers. No, he's still with the Niners, Arturo. And that's why, they're to be dealt with. I think the Niners, I just think that Dallas Cowboys are on the right track, man, but I need to see it.
They're okay. Nothing against it. Let's break that. I mean, you saw that their head coach was in a car accident, right? Like, he's going to be he was in a car accident, so he's going to be very limited during the beginning of training camp and stuff. So he was
that?
Kyle Shanahan.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty sure it's Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, whatever the coach's name is.
Shanahan was in the car accident. How nice.
Was it Kyle?
Am
I right? But yeah, he was.
I don't think so.
I can't think of his name. Am I right? Am I right? I can't think of the head coach's name for the 49ers.
It's Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, so he was in I heard that he was in a car accident.
I'm looking at it. Coach Kyle, yeah, you got it. Look at you. 9 hours ago, Kyle Shanahan to be limited in camp after car crash.
Don't make me laugh. That's not cool.
Kyle Shanahan suffered significant injuries in a car crash during a summer break mid-July that will leave him limited as the team opens training camp. Shanahan broke his nose. I've done that.
Mm.
3 ribs. I
Damn,
have not
Jimbo,
done
you
that.
were right. Oof.
It needed more than 40 stitches in his face. Oh man, so flat brim may not be flat brim necessarily off the
Poor
bat.
guy. Yeah.
He
Oof.
suffered a severe concussion during the July 14th. Okay, so it's actually, yeah, I think he'll be fine. He collided with an SUV near a Northern California home, according to sources. Well, we wish him a speedy recovery, but I'm not really worried about that too much. But yeah, it's something I'll have to deal with. Arturo says
Yeah,
yes, he
Haley, I
was.
know you're probably being serious, but to me, it's like football. He's in concussion protocol, so he can't there's for some reason there's a joke right there. You didn't even need to
You
write
see,
it; it was already there.
You got Melvin's in the house. What's up, Melvin? You got Joe Boo's cooking and tailgating is also in. What's up, Mark? Are you getting ready for
Yeah.
some football, brother, or what?
Woo-hoo. But anyway, so that's the quarterback position. Obviously, I would feel good about getting rid of Milton and getting that third quarterback. If you had Milton on the practice squad, I would be okay with Milton on the practice squad. I don't think you can dangle his ass out there and he's not going to be picked up. If he get picked up, it's probably going to be by the Ravens or something like that.
Will Greer is going to be a player coach,
and then Will Greer is just going to come out here like Superman and shit, just like I got you. Dun, 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 dun.
You know, I just want everybody to realize, and I know this always
him
gets
and
under
his blood cell number.
I know this gets under people's skin. We drafted Caleb Downs.
Ooh,
I think we all overlook. I know we talk about it a lot, and other fan bases are tired of hearing about it. But we got Caleb Downs. I don't think people realize, and I shared
well, we're gonna talk about
I
that
shared
later.
a Ed Reed. It was a thing on Ed Reed, and Ed Reed. I did not know this. Ed Reed has had a relationship with Caleb Downs for years. He spotted Downs for years. So all the comparisons to Ed Reed are a little ridiculous. But Ed Reed himself said he's a special player, and I shared that on my Facebook. So there is a video about that.
When we talked about Downs and Christian Parker,
that.
there's going to be a little tie I want to put together, which Cowboy fans may not like my take. My take there.
Downs.
But anyway, let's go to the next one. Of course, we're going to go running back. As we go into the running back position, Javonte Williams coming into his second year, gets an extension by the Dallas Cowboys. I'm feeling good about that move going into his second year. Whether he's healthy, whether he's available all the time, it's still knowing that change of pace back, the one that's going to hit, as soon as he gets hit at the line of scrimmage, he's going to go forward. Definitely. We need the 1-2 punch, and I think Blue can be that. I'm just interested to see, I hear all this praising. I still need to see it. I'm with you in the sense of how you're spacing, how you're seeing the hole. Is he taking football seriously? Nothing's going to just be handed to you. So a lot with that number 2. Who's the number 3 right now? Is it Davis or are you talking about Maffa over here?
It'll be I don't know. I'm not gonna just hand it to Phil Maffa. He needs to, I'm thinking.
All right, I need you to hand it to somebody right now, Brian. Right now, hand it to somebody. Give him the key to the back seat hump.
Now, Will McClay brought up a point, and the diversity.
Now we're gonna listen to Will.
They love their running backs, but again, this is another situation where we need to see it. Who is the backup? I think Jaden Blue is going to be the backup. I think Phil Maffa is going to be, but I love their guys. It's just, I need to see it. That's why I said that's a position I need to see. If Javonte Williams goes down, Jaden Blue is not an every down guy. I don't see that.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
No. Hell no.
So
Maffa is going to be your main guy. And then, that would how it would have to come in. Maffa would be your main guy, and Blue would still be your number 2. Unfortunately.
He's new to the NFL. Mm-hmm. He's relatively new to the NFL. He's gonna be
a great football
here in your face soon. Defenses, because he's a handful. Mm-hmm. But again, that's one of those things where we're talking right up until the point where you have to play an NFL football game. You look at Philadelphia; they have Tank Bigsby. They can say whatever they want. He started in this league.
Yeah,
that's the difference. Is what I'm talking about. You look in New York Giants. You got Cam Scatterboo, who's a loose cannon, but then you also have the other guy whose name is who's played games in this league, who I really like. So,
well, I mean, you're talking about Bigsby in general. Like when you're bringing up that, you're talking about I think something that you cannot teach in the sense of experience football. Like, oh, we're at 2 minutes, we're trying to run the clock down. The defense is most likely going to be punching at the ball. You're going to need to really secure. You're going to really secure. Their rookie guy that hasn't played that year, now his sophomore year, he's not going to know that stuff. And obviously it's football knowledge. But again, if you're a guy and you're worrying about just the play itself, you're not thinking about those other things in those moments. Those are the things that a veteran can bring that a rookie can. And that's the only thing. And so I'm interested to see just him playing in there.
Yeah, Jimbo says Blue was a big disappointment. But again, when he played, he was okay. But yeah, in and of itself, he was disappointing because he didn't play much.
Yeah. And at the end of the season, he was looking pretty good. I did like what he was looking like at the end of the season.
We got Israel Abanikanda, who's an absolute dynamic football player who we were talking about forever. We finally got him from the Jets. But again, we need to see. It's a beautiful question. I don't have the answer for you. Who am I looking forward to? Jaden Blue. I'm looking forward to Jaden Blue and Phil Maffa intermixing with Javonte, because Javonte won't get a lot of run. He's the starter.
Now I know
you won't see him get a lot of run.
I know you're not going to really be able to figure this out, and I don't think anybody in this chat is really going to be able to figure out. But who is going to be our fullback going into the season?
Well, it's going to be
Hunter Lemke. Oh yeah, that's right. I guess it's guaranteed. Never mind.
Lemke, right?
Go ahead and scratch that in, unless somehow he sleeps with the coach's wife or something.
I think this is why I say Hunter Lepke, and I think Hunter Lepke is on this team because of special teams. Let's not forget, and I'm not trying to be negative, but the one area of our team that was a disappointment outside of the defense was the coverage unit on special teams. And finally, we're going into a season without C.J. Goodwin, our special teams ace, who we've been ready to cut for years, right?
Yeah. I mean, but you have other guys. Yeah, you have other guys that have been pretty good. Even I hate to say this name in there, but Luke Schoonmaker has been pretty good in the special teams as well. So you got some guys that can fill it in. I'm nothing against Goodwin, but I need a guy that can do multiple positions and not just one special.
Yeah. Well, I hate that. You just can't be a special teamer. I'm sorry. Not in this day and age. You got to offer something. Now, at one point, like Goodman could offer, some backup corner. But that day has come and went. That's why he's retiring. Again, that's an area where it was not good. The coverage unit of the Cowboys was not good. So, that could be better. That's the one coach who was brought back, on the non-offensive side of the ball. Obviously, defense was revamped, but he kept his job. The special teams, so what's going to change? Hopefully personnel in and of itself. I think PJ Locke will help it. Again, I think that's another one of those positions where PJ Locke is just a good pro. Is he an all-pro? No. Is he a Pro Bowler? Probably not. PJ Locke is going to be a glue guy on that defense and on special teams. Who else emerges? I don't know. But, you talk about the running backs. I think our running backs are going to have to play special teams. Jaden Blue, okay? Jaden Blue is going to have to play a little bit on special teams, probably in the return game. I do not want to see Caleb Downs in the return game. We keep hearing how great he was in college. I don't need to see Caleb Downs returning kicks.
Nope. I mean, don't see that.
I'm sorry. Nope. I don't want to see it.
Nope.
Sorry, Caleb. Stop it. Remember we saw that with Dez? Remember Dez would always want to return? And I think CD a little bit. Was it CD or Dez? Maybe it was Dez. But
CD did do it in the beginning a little bit.
Yeah. I don't need that. It's like Tony Pollard. Remember Tony Pollard? Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he kind of started everything.
Maybe fourth quarter, and if Downs is that good in punt returns, then why the hell we got Kevontae Turpin if he can't do it? That's my thing. Why are we spending money on Kevontae if he's not the guy? I mean, he's good. Last year was a shit show with Kevontae. No? Am I wrong with that?
Oh, man. The two fail.
Putting up the hands,
fair catch things, running forward in like back-to-back games. I swear that's what it was.
But, I mean, we're hearing how great Downs is in returns.
I don't need that. I don't care if he's a good quarterback. I don't need him playing offense. And,
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's go into the next
Yeah,
offensive
I
thing. We're
agree,
gonna go.
football fanatic.
We're gonna go to the tight ends. I think this is one of those ones where you go a
Vinny,
number of
yeah.
different ways. The coaching staff could have a totally different feeling than what we have. I think to me, Schoonmaker is kind of one of those guys that he's the odd man out more right now. But again, what I hear is that the coaching staff really likes Schoonmaker. Oh, he took a big step up last
Yes.
year.
I'll believe it when
I
I
didn't see
see it.
that.
I'll believe it when I see it. I know what you're saying, but you know how this goes. Michael Trigg's going to have to do something special. He's going to have to be a good pro to make this team. I know they love him. I think that obviously you got Ferguson. How many are making the team? 4, 3?
I think 4 could
Three.
make it. I think 4. 3 is obviously
Okay.
the obvious number. I think 3 is the
Well, I
obvious
mean,
number that you have
you
to
got
stay.
Hunter Lepke.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Yeah,
like
kind of
you
your
going with
fourth
3
one.
or you going with 4?
Well, Hunter Lepke
Okay,
could be
so if
your
you go
kind of your
4,
fourth one. So
that's
you
what I'm
say
saying.
3. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you go Jake Ferguson, you
Jake
go
Ferguson.
what's the other guy's name? The real
Spanford
big dude. Spanford.
and Trig.
And I don't know. I think Trig is the guy. I think Michael Trigg will be the guy. Barring injury, I think he's going to beat out Luke Schoonmaker. That is my hot take. If you're asking me now who's in jeopardy, Luke Schoonmaker. He just doesn't do enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's gonna happen? He's gonna light it up this preseason. I'm not cutting Michael Trigg. Sorry. Michael Trigg's on my football team. Sorry, everybody. Triggs learn how to block you. Because Trigg is an absolute stud. It's just between the ears, you hope that he's matured and ready to go. And he's going to have to offer something on special teams, right? Michael
Yep.
Triggs. He's an athlete, so I think he can do it.
Just depends on how much 2 tight end sets and things
yeah.
like that you're gonna have to do, because you're gonna have to obviously have some backups and everything. But I mean that really, I think that right there is your first position battle. That you really think that there's a battle other than that backup, obviously, of running backs, where you're going to have that rotation of third guy itself because of Blue. This is kind of where that number 2 tight end could definitely be up for grabs.
Yeah.
2 and 3, really, honestly, where it's Schoonmaker probably looking in from the outside. So I mean, I think there's going to be a number of combinations there, and I think anybody can really make an argument for any of those. And I think even an argument can be made for Schoonmaker, as much as we don't like him necessarily. Him being the pick that he was.
Is there a world where Lepke's not on the team?
Oh, that would be tough. I don't think so, just because unless you're putting one of those guys at the fullback position.
I brought this up before. Remember that Highsmith? I brought this up 2 months ago? I have a weird feeling that they may trade Hunter Lepke to the Steelers. Remember, Mike McCarthy's the head coach of the Steelers, loved Hunter Lepke, does everything. And they have Highsmith, the linebacker, who is kind of the odd man out there. I mean, I said that 2 months ago. Look for, again, I need my pro personnel department to flip guys. If that's the case, then you could keep Schoonmaker. If Schoonmaker has a great preseason, again, there's nothing personal. I'll keep him. But I can't have Schoonmaker and Hunter Lepke. I just can't. So I need somebody to, Lepke just is a steady Eddie. And now it seems like we're moving a little differently as far as running the ball, and we're bringing in smaller guys. And Phil Maffa, they love Phil Maffa. If you have Phil Maffa, you don't need Hunter Lepke. Am I wrong? If you have Phil Maffa, why do you need Hunter Lepke?
I think again, I haven't seen Maffa, but I can't really think that he's as athletic as maybe if you go to throw a pass, he's not going. If he throws it behind, I don't think he's going to be where Lepke can maybe spin around and catch it from behind him.
I'm just trying to find
and I'm the one that doesn't like him. I'm over defending him, but I don't see Maffa doing that unless somehow he has some agile feet. But so I think he definitely plays a role in the fact that he can't play running back, fullback, tight end. Oh yeah, there you go. Coyote kind of blames it. Yeah, that the fact that you can play multiple positions.
I love Coyote. I'm trying to find a way to keep Schoonmaker.
Yeah, Princeton Font we forget about too.
Yeah, he's a guy that'll be added to the practice squad. That's just that. See, just like Malik Davis. Malik Davis will be cut and he'll be added to the practice squad. And Malik Davis had a hell of a year last year, but he's not making this team.
He's not making the team.
Not the way I see it, unless barring injury. Just like if I had to ask you, what's the one position on the field? Well, let's say offense.
Okay.
What's the offense? What's the one position on on offense where there's the fewest spots up for grabs. You know,
The fewest spots up for grabs.
I mean, you figure
Ooh,
wide receiver. If I'm thinking wide receiver, there's only a couple spots to even thought about. You figure you got Pickens,
that would
you
be
got
mine.
Lamb, and you got Flournoy. Those are three, right? So
You count
who's your
Turpin in
fourth?
there? You count
Mingo?
Turpin in there as one of those
No, I'm
guys
not
because he
counting
could.
Turpin.
Anthony
No, I'm
Smith
keeping
obviously
five wide.
makes it unless
I'm
somehow
keeping
he's
five
not.
wide receivers and Turpin. So if you got those three,
Three.
then you got Turpin, which I'm not.
You're not adding him, but you
That's
need two more. Do you have Anthony Smith? Because I mean, he's going to have to make something where he's not going to make this roster. And then I think that last one is the one that's kind of up for grabs. I mean, right now, to me, Smith has the better chance of making that roster than probably some of these other guys here.
you got Camden Brown. He's not making a team.
Jordan Hudson,
You got
Denzel
Trayshawn
Mims.
Holden.
That's what I'm
You got
saying.
Trayshawn
Maybe,
Holden,
but you got to see him.
Jordan
Actually,
Hudson, Tyler Johnson. I mean, just looking at it,
Marquez Valdez Canton.
Denzel Mims. Remember, we went out and picked up Denzel Mims. So Denzel Mims comes in. He's a 28-year-old young receiver out of Baylor. Jonathan Mingo.
So
it's
yeah,
put up
so
or shut up.
so you're gonna so honestly, when you look at it, it's like that five and six receiver is basically up for grabs.
I mean, Anthony Smith is 6'2", 200 pounds. East Carolina.
And if he comes in here and actually does well in the sense of just getting on the same page as Dak, learning the playbook, being in his spots, man, right there, that can earn you a spot, especially with you just a recent draft pick, and none of the other guys are nothing or guaranteed for anything. Not even I don't even think Mingo's the guaranteed. If you're gonna
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
no.
He's on the squad. So, it'll be interesting, right, Phil?
Yeah.
That's going to be a heated race,
Yeah. I
Holden,
agree, Coyote.
Anthony Smith.
So let's go to the offensive line. Because the offense, obviously, with the wide receiver, I think that again, you definitely said it. I think there's going to be somebody that's going to go off, and someone be somewhere else as a wide receiver and become a star somewhere else. We've seen it before. When you're looking at the tackles of this team, obviously we talked about Tyler Guy, we talked about Terrence Smith and where they level at. Terrence Smith is just kind of that guy that, you don't have to worry too much about him, but you gotta have to worry about him at times. So it's just like there's nothing guaranteed on that spot. Tyler Guyan, you need to see, just other than the consistency, you need to see availability, a growth there. But I think you got two pretty good backups. Not to say they're going to become starters, they're going to come in here and just take people's jobs or anything. But I feel good, at least somebody that's competent to come in here in the sense of a Nate Thomas for your left tackle, and of course Drew Shelton. Got to go through training camp because I feel like some of these guys that we may feel good about going into it, they got to stay healthy. I think that's the biggest thing, especially when you're going to start clashing inside with some of these other teams that you're going to be in the preseason. You're going to get some definitely playing time to see where you're at. So I'm interested to see how those two tackles look. Just because obviously are you going to see much of Tyler Guyton and Terrence Smith in the preseason?
No.
Yeah, so other than maybe what you're going to see maybe on
Cornelius,
film.
We still got a Johnny Cornelius out of Oregon, who I know they like. So we got good bodies there. We got big size.
Marcellus Johnson,
like a Johnny Cornelius again. I think they like him as well. So it'll be interesting. But they did invest in Drew Shelton, big guy out of Penn State. I don't think he's going to be ready to be a challenge. We're hearing that there's a challenge for the starting position between Nate Thomas, who did not come in and fare very well last year, and obviously Tyler Guyton. I think Tyler Guyton, if he stays healthy, it's his job. I do. Mm-hmm. I think Tyler Guyton, the 6'7", Tyler Guyton, it's going to be his job. It's just he's got to stay healthy, and he has to do it. That's one of those deals where, they're laying out a road for him to pick the ball up and run with it, but you have to be able to get from A to B and get to the season and then maintain your health. For a big guy, he needs to stay healthy. That's all. Tyler Smith running from the Madden before he leave. Checking him tomorrow. Cowboy Nation, my bankroll. What's up, Gus? What's your thoughts? I mean, who do you like? I mean, do you see any surprises there? Obviously, Terrence Steele took the pay cut to remain a Cowboy, another big boy who gets way too much criticism, I think. I do.
That's me. That's me. That's me. I give him way too much criticism. I think he's amazing in the running game, the passing game. But at times he can look like a turnstile. But there's times where I've seen him really get in there and really block as well too. So, I would say, does he have any particular? He can struggle sometimes with the power, but he can handle it. Yeah, there's some times where I've seen some people just use their agility to kind of get around him. So, but then again, I've seen him take
Yeah.
larger steps to really get in there. So I think he struggles at times, and you don't know when he's going to. But but other times he comes in and he really plays the game. So you have that middle ground with him. It's hard for me to really pick right tackles that are always dominating the game. But I'm pretty sure you picked the top five. But otherwise, everybody after that kind of struggles there. I don't think Terrence Steele's any difference. But makes me feel better is that he took that big pay cut, because that was my argument for the past 2 years. You're getting paid that money. You got you're not consistent. Tyler Guyton, I think you're kind of talking about him where he's got to be interested, man. He's got to stay invested. You got to kind of keep him in the game, because if he's not, then he's going to get distracted, and he's probably not going to be as committed, and he's going to be a waste. So if you can see him consistently working and be around people that want to work, I think that might help him. But again, I really like the backups coming into there. At least we have some guys that are serviceable, that I feel pretty good about Drew Shelton. I'm not going to say that he's going to come in here and he's going to be an all-pro, but when I look at Steele and how he's played, I kind of looked at who was the other tackle that we had when Steele went out. There was a tackle that came in here. I can't think of his name. 75.
Yeah. Well, let's go. No, he's not there anymore. But yeah,
no. But
yeah,
there was another one. There
yeah.
was another one as well too. But
Well, we got
I've seen one.
Cornelius.
Cornelius. I
Yeah.
think I've seen him out there as well too. So is there anybody playing it extremely well? No, but at least again, Nate Thomas had his moments, and I feel like going into another training camp, going into another coaching staff, really, right? I mean, we have, you know, I don't think he's worked with that consistent coaching staff in the sense of the offensive line. So I think that's what I need to see him, in the second year under somebody, kind of seeing if he can make that leap. But again, Bryan, he says that, the third stringer, I think that's even a possible bright spot. Now, are they any possible Pro Bowlers and possible stars in the future? I don't know. They don't look like it right now, but that doesn't mean anything. You know how offensive linemen, it just takes one good year
Yeah.
for them to take that huge step. You don't know where they come from. But anyways, as I go into where I feel very comfortable with this offensive line is going into our guard positions, and of course that's with Tyler Smith and Tyler Booker, the other two Tylers in this team.
Yeah. Again, I would say our interior is up there with amongst the best between your center and guard combo. That's the strength of this offensive line, and that's the most important part of the offensive line. I think people overblow the left tackle and right tackle. Yeah, it's great to have those, but when you run the football, and especially to have your quarterback be able to step up in the pocket, that's really the most important. You don't hear nothing about our guards because they're so good. And we got
I
year
expect Booker
number
to
two.
get yes, I expect Booker to
Yeah,
get better in year number 2 as well too. And so he was already
strength, right, Bill? That strength and conditioning. He was
Mhm.
already a beast. I expect him. Supposedly, um, he's put on muscle, leaner, bigger, just more massive. And Tyler Smith looks like a totally different player. I hope that's a good thing. He almost looks like a left tackle. I don't know if they told him something. Be ready. I don't know, but Tyler Smith looks like a different player, just to the naked eye. From what I'm hearing, he looks mammoth. He's a chiseled dude right now.
Well,
And
how would you feel if
it's the
they switched him?
strength.
I don't know. Let's say they switched him, and let's say they offered let's say Tyler Smith was on the outside, Tyler Guyton was in the guard position.
Yeah,
You think that might
no,
help
I don't
Gart?
see
You mean
that
it
at
might
all.
help Guyton in that sense, or putting him
I
back to
don't
right
know that
tackle,
Guyton.
or how's?
Yeah, I think if Guyton don't make, if he's not the starter left tackle, he goes to be the backup.
Okay,
That's what happens.
agreed.
I don't think Guyton. Everybody assumes he could play right tackle. I think if Guyton has an injury, then there you go. I don't think they're going to go with Nate Thomas. I think they're going to go with Tyler
Tyler
Smith
Smith.
and maybe I think that's what they're going
TJ
to
Bass
do.
in the
They're
middle
going
or
to play
something
their
like that.
best five.
Yeah.
And then they love TJ Bass. Again, they chose him to stay. He's
Mhm.
due for a long-term deal, possibly after this year. TJ Bass, they love him. There was offers for him. They kept him. I'm glad they did. Um, so I would not have a problem. I'm not saying I want that. I like Tyler Smith at guard. He wants to play guard. But I'm just telling you, his body has changed. He is really looks like a specimen now, more than he ever did, and he looks like a left tackle. Are they? I'm just saying. Are they
Mhm.
telling him something? Be ready. You may be playing left tackle if our best five, is I don't think so, Phil. I think he's going to be the guard. That you drafted Drew Shelton. I think the future is, Drew
Maybe
Shelton.
he could be pulling more as well too. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. So either way, it's a strength of our team. And all five are returning yet again. That's a good thing, people. That is
Yeah,
a
and then
very
going
good
into
thing
that
for the
fifth
running
one
game.
being, of course,
Yeah.
Cooper Beebe, a really good, strong piece that we got in the third round, a guy that I was
Quiet,
very
right?
much.
Nobody's talking about that
No,
guy.
he gets
Nobody.
easily forgotten, I think, within this team and stuff. But
Steady
got
Eddie.
married, right? I think he got married this offseason, or was that last
Yeah,
offseason?
he's married now.
So I mean, so yeah, I mean, when you look at that, I'm definitely happy with that pick. I definitely think a really strong, solid piece for it. Is he the best? Is he the best player on this team? No, in the sense of of that team. But again, when I looked at what we had before in the sense of Tyler Biotish, I think he struggled a lot with the power. Where I really like how Cooper Beebe gets himself into in between the defender and where the ball is, and how he's able to help really with that double team to get to the second level. So I've loved his work. I'm interested to see how he continues to push forward. Obviously, everybody needs to continue. There was some stuff where he would get caught up in some blocks as well too, so leaving some stuff open. So yeah, definitely still needs to improve a lot. But again, I really like where he's at. I think if anything that you were going to pick anything on this line to go get somebody, I think a center would be it because of course Matt Hennessy
Matt
being
Hennessy.
out with the
Yeah, he's out for
IR
the year. Yeah.
gives you Nick Leverlet or something. I can't remember who it was. It just kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think if that one would be the position that you would need to go out there and find that backup tackle. Not tackle, sorry, center. How are you feeling about
You
that?
got TJ Bass. You do got TJ Bass.
Well,
Who
he played a
can
little
do it.
bit of it, but
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying. I mean, I agree with you. And that's where I think that they need to do some roster gymnastics just for that type of deal. But, we got time for that. But it is a real deal. God forbid something happens to Cooper Beebe. Now what? It would have to be TJ Bass right now, you would think. But, I think I have a weird feeling that they're going to roll in a guy that we're not thinking of right now to take some snaps in preseason. That
Yeah,
just
I
makes
would
a lot
agree.
of sense to do that. Um, Again, that's one of the more talented areas of our team is the offensive line. Again, we're talking about the offense, and we know all the question marks on defense. But my thing is, when we talk about the defense, we don't know, right? We know we have a lot of young talent that needs to come together. So it's kind of hard to pick it. But sticking with the offense, I didn't know this. Listening to Bryan Broaddus this morning, or it was yesterday. Dallas Cowboys wide receivers. They defenses played cloud coverage 28% of the time against Dallas Cowboys. Third most in the NFL, Phil. The Dallas Cowboys teams played cloud coverage single high, third most in the NFL. And what that is, everybody, is basically just trying to take a slants away from George Pickens, like pushing everything underneath. Do you just, and it makes sense when you think about it. They were third in the NFL, Phil, with defenses playing a cloud coverage against their two dynamic wide receivers. The number one and number two, after you hear it, is not that surprising. Number one in the league to play a cloud coverage, the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, wonder why, right? You got the two dynamic wide receivers. You can't, you just, and the number two with the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, two dynamic wide receivers. So it was an interesting stat that that's how defenses played Dallas, and they had a good year, uh, statistically. But George Pickens needs to step up. They need to put him in motion more. I was listening to Bryan, and these are just some of the things where how could Dallas get better on offense by putting George Pickens in motion. It's not a bad thing, but you need to put him in motion because teams were starting to take him away towards the end of the year. If you leave him just stationary, Phil, on the outside, and he's not on the run, you could take that guy and limit that guy. You don't want to do that. So, your thoughts on that? I know it was a long, drawn out thing, but
When you're
I think
looking
that's an
at this,
area where we can improve play
yeah,
calling.
I think this offense is really kind of suited to do whatever the defense is allowing you to do. I think, again, you hear that so many times, but when you're talking about what Bryan was saying in the sense of one single safety with the four corners or whatever that you're going to go, think of it as like soccer. We just had the World Cup. Let's think of it as soccer. You got your four guys that are going across. You're going to make sure that we're going to try. If you try to put everybody four, you're trying to make sure that you're going to keep everything, and you're hoping that your front is going to get to the quarterback and you don't allow them to get behind those corners, But when you're looking at, for example, four high safety, for example, where you're looking at four guys across, now you're leaving all this room available over the middle in front of you, so you're allowing those first downs, just them just kind of pounding away at your defense there, just slowly just taking it away, giving their offense some time on the sideline. I think that's a combination too. So you got to pick your poison. But I think when you have some talented receivers like those teams that he was mentioning, doesn't really care how you kind of stack it up. They're going to find a way to attack you. All they have to do is really adjust. And then, of course, if you don't have that pressure front interior line, yes, then you're not going to get pressure. They're going to be able to get wide open. You saw how even with Pickens, he was being double covered. There was times where he's being triple covered. He was still making those plays over that, and that says a lot.
Him to catch that shit over the middle. That's why you saw a lot of the, you know what I mean?
Deeper
that
ones.
that's why I think, they need to put him in motion a little more. They need to mix it up. And that's the exciting part about this offense, that they're just literally scratching the surface. You got to remember, they came in last year and CeeDee Lamb got hurt early in the year. It was a good thing for George Pickens, but not so good for CD because he came back and never was the same with that high ankle injury.
Well, sometimes what happens with those motions, and I think that's what she's saying. Like, for example, when you're, and I wish I could kind of teleprompter right now, but when you have a guy, all of a sudden you're bringing him in motion over to the side. Yeah, boom, Tenactin. You bring him over to your right side, for example. All of a sudden, maybe that's a mismatch on that linebacker that was supposed to maybe be taking the tight end across the middle. Now, either you cover that tight end that's going across the middle, and then you leave that wide receiver that just went into the slant over. Now he's behind you. He's going to be wide open. Okay, never mind. I go ahead and back up and I go take that wide receiver. Now you left the tight end. So they're all about causing these mismatches right at the line of scrimmage, in the sense of right when the snap is going to happen. So it's like a combination of things are happening very, very close to the line of scrimmage, but also just things that are just mismatches that they're causing at the very last second, that you really need to kind of see everything, and everybody needs to be on the same page. So I really like how this offense attacks, because if you're going to put, how do you stop these kind of receivers and with a tight end and all that? You put a dime defense, you put the nickel defense, but the nickel defense won't even be it. You need that dime defense, which allows your running game to all of a sudden become very potent. And I think you have a running back that's capable of being amazing. So I think I really get excited about this offense, because I definitely see it continuing. Yes, I could see it slowing down a little bit as well too. So I mean, as these players are getting older, you still need your third and fourth receiver, but hey, we'll see.
I don't see much of a slowdown.
I agree.
Because I don't see a slowdown on offense. I think they're going to get better. Again, Dallas is one of the worst teams in the NFL in scoring in the first quarter. Again, I repeat, look at the numbers. Dallas was one of the worst teams. They were always down in games. They hardly scored in the first quarter last year. Go back and look at it. I think that would help you. Obviously, I think Brian Schottenheimer with this group as the head coach running the offense did fantastic, but there's a lot of meat on the bone. That's why when people say, oh, they're going to regress. Well, they may regress in overall standing, but if you're better scoring in the first quarter, you're better in the red zone, then it's a net positive at the end of the year because you would assume that your defense is not going to be uh, monumentally bad in giving up 3 points per possession, and the missed assignments that were just ridiculous last year was constantly putting Dak
Mm-hmm.
Prescott and that offense behind the eight ball to where they had to score. And to their credit, they had a phenomenal year. But that defense set the table. But like I said, the offense did not help them in first quarter last year. They were one of the worst teams in the league in first a quarter scoring, which means the end of the first quarter, you were losing or it was close. That's not good enough. For as good as that offense is, it needs to be better. And
Yep,
that's
way
what,
better.
So just real quick to
We're
all
gonna
my
switch over to
Birds
defense
fans
after
out
here,
there.
man. Yeah, go ahead.
Patriots, Drake May targets A.J. Brown with his first throw at training camp. Are we shocked? Are we shocked that A.J. got the first ball? That Vinny, chat GBT make people look smarter than they are. What's up, Vinny? How are you, brother? Drew, you got, there you go. Drew's hitting them. But anyway, so you want to go to the defense, Phil?
Let's go
Is
ahead and
that what you
switch over
want
to
to do?
defense. Yes, we're going to be switching over to defense. A new defense with a new defensive coordinator. Of course, the big thing is it's going to be switching around, but base 3-4 most likely in the sense that that's how we're going to kind of talk about this as a 3-4 defense.
Base
And
nickel.
yeah, base nickel.
Guess
Yeah.
it'd be nickel most of the time, right? But yeah,
But
I
when
hear
you
you.
can,
Yeah.
but when you're coming in here, of course you have your two guys, Quentin Williams and of course Kenny Clark. I think Williams obviously gets a lot more snaps. Kenny Clark's going to be your rotational guy that you kind of need to limit his snaps as you go through the season. I know he's going to want to get in there, and if he has that determination, he's going to want to get in there. Then do it. I'm all about it. But you know how you always have to kind of save him for himself because if you don't have those other guys, Ogbonnier and all that kind of stuff, Bullen,
Tito Agbania, Jonathan Bullard, and company.
Yes, I think Jay Toye.
LT
Do you see
Overton.
Jay
I don't
being
know,
a
Jay Toye
part
might
in
be
there?
out.
You think so?
Well,
Because you got
again,
LT
last year we were relying
Overton.
on-
I don't like him, but everybody else likes him. So
So you don't like LT Overton?
I just don't. I just find him undersized. But at the same time, if he's a guy that can ball, then I'm all
Do
about
you know
it.
who he is?
Oh yeah, I saw
Do you know
him
who he is?
play. I definitely saw him play.
No, I'm saying, do you know who he is? He's the replacement for the guy we traded to.
Osa.
He's
Osa.
Osa 2.0, except a lot stronger. He comes in the league way stronger than Osa.
I thought he played very
Osa.
well in college and stuff, but that's where I was like, okay, is he going to fit in this? And so
he's not going to start. He's a rotational guy, Phil. I think it's a perfect situation. But I hear you. They really love him, so that's that doesn't mean nothing. But just remember where we were last year. We were relying on Jay Toye at UCLA. What was he? A 7th-round draft pick.
I think that's where you get very quick. I love the offensive starters and stuff. I think when you or the defensive starters in the sense of that line gets very questionable once you get to the second and stuff like that. What you're using for ends, who's going to be switched around. I think seeing that Overton is obviously when I see him, is he going to play more towards the outside linebacker position then? Is that what you would see? Not playing what he played in college, where wasn't he more in the defensive tackle position?
Who's that? Overton? Yeah, I think he's going to play. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to play tackle, defensive tackle. I do, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a question. I think I want to see
that's
where he's
the
going to be
thing about
lining
the
up.
Defense.
Yeah,
that's the thing about the defense. You ask me, and I have names for you. I don't know what they think.
Well, I mean, everybody could be different
about,
as you switch over from a 3-4 to 4-3 to nickels and stuff. Each person could have different assignments, right?
That's where the linebacker core will help you, and the edge rushers. And again, they have. I did notice Nick. What's his name? Nick, the beat writer that's covering Cowboys.
Eaton.
Nick Eatman, but no, the other guy.
Nick Harris.
Nick Harris. That's it. I like Nick Harris a lot. I like his opinions. Nick Harris said the one thing he noticed was just how big that defensive line is now, with Jonathan Bullard, with Otito Ogbonnia, with Quentin Williams, with Kenny Clark. And then you add an LT Overton and a Jay Toia. We'll see.
Even
Jay
Wheat. I mean,
Toia
Wheat
can
was a
make
big
the
guy,
team.
right? Right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I mean Tyrus Wheat's back. I mean,
I liked him. I
know,
liked him in his first stint here.
yeah, and he will help on special teams. He's a very athletic dude. Again, there's a lot of names here, um,
Because
but
they're
I
men.
think the least.
The men in
I'm
tights,
not
tights,
worried about
tights.
the defensive line. I'm really not. I'm actually excited about it. They're
Yeah,
going to
improvement,
collapse.
improvement.
They're going to collapse most of these. Maybe not the Eagles necessarily, but they're going to collapse a lot of these offensive line. That's how big they got. They got I mean, Solomon Thomas is gone, Osa's gone. They beefed up way bigger than them. I like those players. They're good players, but how Christian Parker is asking these guys to play, they could not have played in the system effectively.
Yeah.
So there would have been plays out there, everybody, where Osa gets turned and it's a huge play. In this new scheme, you need big bodies. You just do. Size matters, ladies. It does. I don't want to hear about nothing else.
So as you're going in there, you're talking about those three guys out there. We're going to go to the outside linebackers, but really, is it like you got your Will, you got your strong, you got your basically.
I'm confused when it comes to this. So
Yeah, we're gonna go
There's
with
so
what
many
we
bodies.
think we may have,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
when you're looking at that type of thing. This is where I was talking about that 5 defensive lineman set, where you have your main 3 in the middle. Your defensive edge rushers are now your outside linebackers, for example, and that's where you're looking at Gary. Excuse me, you had Gary and then Easy, right? Easy, those two are going to be your main 2 going into the season, I think. Of course, your backups, I think, is Malachi Lawrence, I think, as well. Now, my question to you is James Houston your other guy, or is Sam's Williams your second one?
I don't know. I don't know. It's Christian Parker. That's what makes it fascinating. I think Ezeraku is the starter. Ezeraku is one of the better run defenders coming from the edge in the NFL last year.
So Gary and easily.
Yeah, I think Easy. If you're gonna bet on a guy, if you want to go place a bet on a player to beat a sack limit or like a number, I think Ezeraku is the guy. I think the sky's the limit for this guy. He was banged up. He did not play well, but I just want to everybody take a deep breath. Nobody played well for whatever reason under that system last year. Nobody played well. Everybody regressed. Now, when I ask you, that's not normal. Normally, yeah, even in a bad year, you have guys who play well. He is a very good football player. I'm excited to see Donovan Ezeraku in this scheme because I think it fits him even better, right?
Yeah,
I do, because he's not the biggest guy, but it's weird because he's not a big guy, but he's one of the better edge defenders against the run as a rookie.
Yeah, he played it very well.
Right
He played
there.
it very well in college. I loved his his repertoire of moves that he had in college. So going into the NFL, he already had those. Obviously needed to perfect them. You saw him with a little bit of flashes here and there. But then again, you saw it sometimes where he would disappear as well, too. So he needed to get into that gym. He needs to get into that scheme. He needs to have a coach that's behind him. And I think if you have some guys in the defensive line that are also guys that they need to worry about, you're worrying about Williams. You're worrying about Clark. Possibly your tackle, depending on who that is there. And then if you're looking at Gary on the other side, yeah, Easy your lesser of all those.
You know what I like about Gary? You know what because you keep bringing up Gary. Do you know what I like about him? He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
for all
he hears
the
people.
Shit that's
He hears
out
people
there
talking
negative.
shit. Yeah.
Everybody's talking shit about Rashawn Gary, not to mention the Terrence Parsons, just throwing him under the bus. He's got a serious chip on his shoulder, and I like that because he has underwhelmed at times. Right? He jumped out to the 7.5 sacks.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I don't know. I could only guess 7.5 sacks last year, and then he disappeared.
Well, I could easily say this as if I'm going to be on the other side of the fence and I'm going to say something bad about Gary, I'm going to say, hey, man, he did an amazing job in the beginning of the year, but when the pressure was on and say, hey, you need to be the guy because now everybody is going to come in here kind of game planning against you, it disappeared. And so, hey, does that mean that once they game plan against you, boom, you're eliminated? You need to overcome that. So again, there's fuel to that fire that he needs to extinguish, and this is the type of season that you can really help push that,
From what I gather, there was an issue in the locker room regarding Rashawn Gary, and he didn't necessarily respond well. The team goes out and trades for Micah Parsons. Again, Micah Parsons, for as great as a football player he is, he's not a leader of men. He doesn't bring people together. He just does not. There was an issue in the locker room regarding they weren't going to coexist. You see all the slander that's coming out from the Parsons camp against Rashawn Gary just as of 3 weeks ago, telling them,
Dude,
yeah,
he was
sucks.
beefing with
This, this,
Lawrence,
that.
and that whole thing happened right last season and stuff, and then he didn't even make it through the offseason, and he was already gone from his
Right,
team. So it's interesting.
right. So I like where we're at with Rashawn Gary. Is it Micah Parsons now?
Hell
Is
no,
it?
man. Parsons is not. Yeah, you
it
can't replace him like
but,
that.
but you know what I mean? Again, I'm going to fall back on you don't need a dynamic. You don't need a Miles Garrett to win a Super Bowl. You need a
I
competent
mean, it would help.
rotation of guys to get the job done. Miles Garrett has not won a Super Bowl. The last
This could
you
change.
you tell me the last dominant edge rusher to win a Super Bowl, and I'll wait. We keep going back to the Denver Bronco team who had the guy who actually wants to come back and play for Dallas, and Dallas said not now. Dallas is going to wait till after week one if need be to bring in what's his name? The who am I thinking of? 37-year-old played with
DeMarcus
Washington
Ware.
last year.
Oh.
Yeah,
Von Miller.
yeah. Von Miller. Von Miller, local guy. He has businesses in Texas. He's from Texas. Von Miller wants to play for Dallas. You know how it works.
To me, he kind of
Dallas-
ruined it the first time. He was all teasing us, and
Yeah,
he decided to go to
yeah.
the Rams or something like that. I was like,
Oh,
yeah, I don't mind you
Bills,
coming here if you're
yeah.
going to be a
Rams and
rotational
Bills,
piece.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think they're waiting to see what they have, and I think that's a smart way. I think
Yep.
you should wait to see what you have. I think they have enough bodies and enough capable bodies to get the job done. Way better than where they were this time last year. Remember, well, not this time last year, but Dallas traded Micah, and our sole response was, well, we got Sam Williams, and we have Donovan Ezaraku, a second-round draft pick. That's who we had going into the season last year, rushing the passer. With all the now we at least we have Ezaraku, we have Rashawn Gary, and oh, by the way, we drafted a first-round edge rusher who's not going to be expected to start with all the pressure of that, and Malachi Lawrence. And then you add all the other pieces.
Yeah, Sam Williams came
Houston,
back on a very, very team-friendly
Sam
deal
Williams.
that needs to prove something. Is
Yes.
trying to prove something as well. Even to me, James motherfucking Houston, is coming back as well. So I'm interested there. I think there's some guys there. What's his name? Louis Fowl. Is he? He's gonna be playing that outside,
I
isn't
don't
he?
know where. See, that's
I hear that's
my
where he's gonna be
shock cut.
playing.
That's my shock cut. I hope not because we need him. I just don't know where he fits in a 3-4.
Yeah,
Maris
special teams.
Leofau.
He's our new.
I
He's
know, but Maris Leofau, somebody's going to get a great player if we let him go.
So I
And
think
I
that
don't-
one's there where you're like, oh,
that
what's
was
gonna
a
happen?
big question mark. You know, I don't know. That's a big question. 30 Sanchez, Micah Parsons misses that game weenie.
That cowboy
Misses
weenie.
that game. Yeah, misses that cowboy weenie.
Nice.
30 Sanchez.
Nice.
What's
Thank
up,
you for
brother?
the super chat,
gonna
man.
put-
Sorry I can't display it, man. Again, I gotta.
Yeah.
My system is. Yeah, I love it. I gotta get a new whole thing with the chat. So I
Yeah,
apologize,
yeah.
people. So I appreciate it. So when you're looking at that, you get your outside. Now let's talk about that inside linebacker. Obviously, to me, those starters, the two starters that you're looking at is D Winters and Overshone. I mean, unless you see somebody else, I love Barham, but unless he shines, all of a sudden does something in the preseason or camp,
I don't
I
think
see him
Barham's
being
gonna
more
start.
I see him
No.
being more of that
Yeah.
backup type of role.
Yeah.
Shamir James
Well, they
as
love
well.
Justin Barron. They love Justin Barron out of Syracuse, 6'4", 240, big boy. I think he had a number change. I think now, yeah, he was 55. I think he moved to 45. Justin Barron, they like him. He did get run towards the end of the year. Again, second-year player, big guy. They like him. Jay Sean Barham, obviously, like the word we keep hearing from him is violence. Talk is cheap. Again, he has to learn. He's a rookie. You need to be careful. But you brought up the guys. D Winters, there's a lot of pressure on him to come in. He's under a contract. They traded for him instead of going for Jordan Brooks and giving up that compensation. They went with D Winters and DeMarvin Overshown. So again, if you're asking me about a position group that is a little suspect, just because we haven't seen it, it's the linebackers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you brought up Shamar James. I love his athleticism.
But
We'll see,
but he's
right?
been up and down as well too. I mean, there's been times where
Yeah.
I wasn't extremely excited about the pick when it first happened. He
You
definitely
didn't like
flashed
the
a little
pick.
bit. He definitely flashed a little bit. I liked how he
University of
was.
Florida. You didn't like it.
No,
You were
I
like, I
didn't.
don't
I
like
did
this
not.
player.
But
But
he's definitely played a lot better in his professional. And I know that's hard to say with the way that this team played last year. But there was some times where I saw him really flash, and I was like, okay, this guy could be a possible piece. But again, I see him as more of a backup role, until somehow he was to come out of nowhere and play. I think his better stuff is in the secondary where he's actually covering, is where I've seen him
yeah,
play a little bit better. But again, there's some guys that can make this thing. I think once you get past those three guys, really, because you're looking at Overshown, Winters, Barham. Overshown all of a sudden doesn't make it. Where are you looking at your linebackers? Barham, Winters? Is it Louisfowl that comes into that middle linebacker position? Is he playing more into that sense of that backup role in the middle linebacker position? So I think there's a lot of question marks still, and I think if the next wave and cuts and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden they sign 2 linebackers and stuff. It's just there's a lot of question marks when it comes into it, getting past those 2 starters and even one of your backers.
Yeah, very interesting to see how the linebackers shapes up. We know the names, right? We know the names, just like in the backfield on the defensive side. We know the names. Who was going to get the starting nod? Just remember, they play most of their downs, most teams in the nickel. So Barham may not be starting, but he may get a lot of run, so it's not so much
Especially in the
as
preseason.
starting anymore. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. That's why when we talk about defense, I can't stand on a table and say this guy, that guy. I don't know yet, guys.
Well,
I don't know.
well, it's the amen. We can't say the good, we can't say the bad. We don't know how it's going to be, so
I
we
can
can only
tell you
point
our
out what we
offense is gonna
see
be
right
good.
now. But yeah, it's like once it starts to happen, I think it could go either way. That's how the NFL works. Now when you go into it, we talked a little bit about this already, but we're gonna go into it. The cornerback position, of course, we talked about Bland being your starter on one side, and of course Durant being your starter on the other side is really kind of what I see. With of course Ravel, Carson kind of being those next ones. Whether you're putting in Downs into that category because you're talking about him playing the nickel position where you got your other safeties in there as well.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to throw him into that conversation. But otherwise, I love the names there. Again, do they have the history? Heck no. Do they have a history of what they've done in the past? Yes, there's been some flashes there, but again, it has not been NFL level flashes, and there's been a lot more question marks than there has been those flashes. So again, you can understand the skepticism when it comes to what these corners can do. Obviously, if you're Cowboy fans, you can see the positive. I see the positive in Revels. I see those
They have
positive
a
in
lot
Bland.
of names, man.
Yeah. Even
Josh Butler, Kalen Carson.
Butler. I think those are one of those guys. I really like Butler and
Josh
but
Butler. Remember, he was hurt last year. So again,
another guy that was hurt.
Yeah, just a lot of it's
more. I think that's going to be that one where I'm going to be I'm interested to see how he's going to play.
And I hate to bring this up, everybody in the chat, and tell you what he's going to be, but Bryan Broaddus, says how unbelievably quick, twitchy, and like change the direction that Devin Moore is. Devin Moore could go. He could be really good. I mean, he's big, and he doesn't play like he looks. He's a big dude, and dude, the upside with that player is phenomenal. So let's see where and who else would you want
so you're right. I mean, right now, with Bland not being in there, you can't guarantee anything with him. So you almost have to kind of jump to that next one positions. But I think you can almost play that.
Bland is good to go though, because Bland is good to go until he's not. He's healthy now,
and you ain't gonna know that. It could be the day before the game. You're like, oh, he's not good to go now.
But we knew last year. We knew last year he was limited. He ain't limited. Him or Ravel are limited. There's no excuses for these guys. They're full go. They want to camp. I mean, they may be on the side, ease in for the first week, but they're ready to go. They're not, no knee braces or nothing. Everybody's good to go. So the bodies are there. It's just you're asking me who's going to win the job. We got a new defensive coordinator. I don't know. He's going to pick his guys. It will not be the same group as it was last year. That I can guarantee you. PJ Locke will be on that. He's going to play more than what some people think. Right? Jalen Thompson. I think we didn't talk about the safeties.
No. We're about to jump in there right now.
I think our safety room is about as most talented as I can remember since, like, we had what's his name from Seattle that we picked up in free agency years ago, and I can't think of his name right now. But our safety room is fantastic. I love our.
You're talking about a safety that we got a couple years ago. You said. I'm sorry.
No, we got a guy in free agency towards the tail end of his career who played fantastic for us.
Ken Hamlin.
Kenny Hamlin, bingo.
Seattle.
Ken Hamlin, that safety group when we had Kenny Hamlin.
Look at that, man. Look at that. Look at that sync right
best.
there, boy. Look at that. I was there with you, man.
Yeah, you were there. Roy Williams, early Roy Williams. It was. I mean, we got Jalen Thompson, we got Malik Hooker, we got Caleb Downs, we got Marquise Bell. I mean.
Marquise Bell, Elijah Clark,
PJ Locke,
Julius Wood.
I mean, that's his. Right? Yeah, Julius Wood is part of the team, but more importantly, Jalen Thompson, Malik Hooker, and Caleb Downs.
Yeah, I really like 5 of those guys easily.
As you can want. And PJ Locke is going to play a lot in nickel situations. Special teams, again, he's just a sound football player. He reminds me of a Reed Blankenship. Eagles fans love Reed Blankenship. PJ Locke is like a Reed Blankenship. That's who he is. He's not going to make a Pro Bowl, but that's the type of guy you're getting. He knows where to be. We didn't get Reed, but we got PJ Locke, and that's what Christian
even
Parker
some of those
needs.
ones. Reddy Stewart, I mean, that's a guy that's flashed as well too.
Reddy Stewart, that's another guy.
Childress, right? Zion Childress.
Zion Childress.
He's flashed as well. Not to say he's gonna be a star or anything like that, but again, serviceable guy that's done some great job. Flashed, had some corner, had some interceptions for us as well too. Stewart definitely a guy that. It could be a special teamers right there kind of thing. Kind of could replace your guy as a good one because he could actually play corner as well too. So I think when you're looking into that, there could be somebody there in that whole group of guys that maybe 2 or 3 guys that get cut there that go and become stars somewhere else. I mean, I definitely could see that in there. Obviously, health is a concern, but when you're looking about that safety position, the fact that you could have 3 safeties on the field at one time and feel pretty good about them rotating out, whether you got like maybe Jalen Thompson on the top and you got, Caleb down under there, and all of a sudden the scheme where all of a sudden Jalen Thompson covers that slot corner and then Caleb Downs is actually blitzing or something like that. There's a lot of things that can be disguised there, but here's what I'm going to do. And I think, again, this is going to get probably some hate here for Phil and what my take is here, but again, I'm a very big fan of the whole Christian Parker thing. The one thing I don't like about it is when the media talks about him and they bring up his resume. They're like, oh, Fangio whole thing, and I get that whole thing. But then they start talking about the corners that he's teached. He's like, oh man, he was there with Patrick Surtain, and then he was there with Quentin Mitchell, and he's there with that. So he was there with first round corners. Like, I think Surtain going into the league was already a pretty big name. I mean, Quentin Mitchell. I'm not saying that Quentin Mitchell was going to be a big name, but he was up there where he was getting some attention as well too. So to be when you give him the credit for those guys, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, and then
that's like a quarterback guy getting
nothing to do with that secondary, right? I mean, that's what we're hearing now, that he wasn't like the lead guy saying, I want Kenyon Mitchell, I wanted Cooper DeJean. Even though he was their coach, he had no authority or no say, and we overrate everything he did regarding with the Philadelphia Eagles. So again, to your point, if you believe that narrative, then I would say we don't know about Christian Parker. I would say he's done it before Philly. He showed it again in Philly. That's the reason why he got the job. He's well-rounded. He's the highest like assistant coach in the NFL that was out there. When you talk to people in the know, they say that's the guy you want running your defense.
Mhm.
It's funny how he's never called a defense. Well, do you know the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks? They had a new defensive coordinator. He was an ex-Cowboys
During, yep.
defensive line coach,
With the
Aiden
accent and
Dirty.
everything. Yep.
And they had a new head football coach who had never coached it in the pro level as a head coach. So it can happen, people. Leave the hate on the doorstep.
Now, that doesn't mean just
Again.
because it may happen, that doesn't mean all of a sudden they should go into the Hall of Fame and everything like that, man. We saw Seattle. I don't know how many of those guys
but
would
stop
go into the Hall
saying
of Fame
it
after
can't
that.
happen. You just
Yeah.
literally saw it happen
Yeah.
on the Super Bowl team without a Myles Garrett. They was just a really good coach team. It can happen. So again, a lot of questions on the defense.
Mhm.
I choose to be positive.
Definitely.
We're not looking to be top 10. We're looking to be
But I
between
mean,
10
when
and
you look
20.
at the talent level that there was here, when you talked about the stars and the names that you could put, I'm not saying that those stars are going to do anything again, but going into last year with Parsons being gone,
Parkinson's.
with him being gone, I mean, you looked at this defense, you were like, oh man, you again, your cornerback was a fresh injury. Diggs being in that room, not giving that 100%, just kind of like not really caring about his treatments as well too. So you had a lot of question marks going into it. That new defense as well. You're hoping that with this guy being a head coach in the past, that he's going to be able to at least kind of make up for that shortcomings when it comes to the talent on this defense. And that was not the case. If anything, he kind of made it worse. So again, can this defense get better? Yeah, I mean, it's not going to take a whole hell of a lot to get better, at least ranking wise. You still got to prove it. If you got weaknesses on this defense that teams can just attack, that's going to be a huge thing. But at least I feel better about a coaching staff that sees maybe a weakness and goes, okay, we need to do so and so in order to try to counter this. Are we going to plug up the hole? No, but at least somebody to stick their finger in that hole to Dirty Sanchez. That was to shout out to you to kind of plug that up, and so like.
You plug up the dike.
Plug up that hole. Yeah, just stick your finger right in there, like boop,
Pause.
Yes.
What's interesting? I know we're all over the place tonight, but we haven't done. This is what happens when we don't do a show in over a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dallas is favored in 11 games. As hard as this schedule is, Dallas is favored in 11 of their football games.
And we don't even know what team this is. That's what's kind of crazy. It's the reputation, at least, of that offense has kind of helped pushing it, and with the.
They're pretty good, though.
Yeah.
They're pretty good in, I'm just letting everybody know, for people in the cheap seats, they're favored in 11 of the games. So that, listen, if they don't live up to expectation, then something happened.
Mm-hmm.
But when you turn on the news and the sports, more and more they're having Dallas, they're making the leap. I'm not ready to make the leap. They're making the leap that Dallas is going to win this division. I think it's on the table, but I think me personally, I need to see a little more, and it has to develop into that. But your thoughts on the expectations from the outside? Are you surprised that, just because of just a few of the draft picks, some of the moves off the field, and then a Christian Parker, though, they have us winning this division more so than not. Let's put it that way. More so than not. When you turn on the TV, they have us winning the division. Are you surprised by that? Or?
No, because every single year they're kind of putting this in the expectations in general. Where they see the talent, they see the Pro Bowls.
But but
that's what they were. They were still on that kind of train, especially once you start doing some stuff. But when you look at how potent this offense was, that's what gave you that chance. That's what you were still competitive to make that possible playoff until towards the last 5 games of the season, where you just kind of dropped off. But that 3-game stretch, you were still in that hunt for as bad as that defense was. It wasn't like that defense all of a sudden became bad at the end of the season. It was really that way throughout the whole season. So you were still competitive.
It was a constant suckness
at the very back end. And you were still, again, competitive as well, too. So that's why they automatically think that, because, at least a little bit of a guy carrying their roster, though that turnover, at least your roster has gotten better. Is it an all-pro roster? Hell no. but it has gotten better, and that's those type of things where you start to add those things up. The coaching staff that cares, those offseason moves, you're expecting at least a minimum of 5 spots, right? Give me up to 26. You know, all of a sudden they come to 10th because of everything coming together. If you can go down to 20, all of a sudden you're a team. You know, like so.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to turn it around 100%. He didn't get 100% of his guys. So for people to say, well, he got all his guys, he didn't get 100% of his guys. You know, he has to go with what's out there in preseason, what's on there. You know, what do other teams not want to re-sign? You know, what can we trade with as well too? So I think you got to go with what's available to you.
I just think it's amazing. You know, all the shit talking, and then a lot of these guys are coming out on ESPN and also, wow, Dallas is probably gonna win this division. I'm like, now you're gonna do that?
Yeah.
I mean, as much as that would be great, I'm not going there yet. I need to see something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dallas is in a precarious position where they can't afford certain injuries. Nobody can, but some teams are more, you know.
I agree. You know, even with one of these corners, sorry, not one of the corners, because something's going to happen with the corner. Let's just be real. The wide receiver, you know, all of a sudden, you know, like, you know, sometimes some of these wide receivers, they do the double, the duo that we have. Sometimes they've disappeared both of them in the game. You know, if you cover one, you know, the other one needs to be able to step up and be that, you know, until they figure that out. I mean, and again, once those guys get figured out, Jake Ferguson needs to be able to eat as well, too. I mean, you got too many weapons on this offense to be struggling the way that they were, especially in the red zone.
Yeah, I can't wait. We sit here, the first game, I'm looking at it now, Wednesday, September 9th. We sit here, Phil, today is what, the 25th? Yeah, the 25th.
25th of July.
So we got 5 days left of this month, and then 31 in August. So that's 36 days, and then we are on
31
game
in
week.
July. I thought there was 31 in July. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's what I said. 31. We got 5 more. All right, 6 more. 6 and 31. It's 37. 46
trying
days.
to cheat me a day out of my life. You son of a bitch.
46 days before we have New England at Seattle, the Super Bowl rematch. I can't wait. Just real quick to everybody. Vinny Hagen, Mark, finish your plaque. I think they're getting it ready to ship. He's going to ship it right to you. Congratulations, Drew. I'm working on a couple things for you that should be out by next week.
Uncle,
I'm going to be
pain in the ass,
out.
Drew.
Yeah, Drew is. I got a couple of things that I'm working on for Drew that he'll be getting probably within the next 2 weeks. Hopefully, you'll get it. I'll let you know when it ships. But getting ready for that time of year, Phil. But yeah, the lineup for week 1 is Wednesday, September 9th, New England at Seattle. Thursday, San Francisco in Australia versus the Rams. So that's an interesting one. 49ers versus the Rams. And then Sunday, man, we have a slate of games that I can't wait. And it's going to start out with the Eagle game at 4:25 for me. You have Washington at Philly. Eagles right now are a 4.5-point favorite at home. Over under is 47.5. And then it ends on Sunday Night Football. For me, I'll be at the game, Phil. Dallas at New York. Dallas is a 3-point favorite right now. On the road, 47.5-point line. Ending the Monday Night Football, Denver at Kansas City. I mean, that is a fantastic week 1. I know we're talking Dallas, but what are some of the things within a division that you're looking for? I mean, I'm really curious to see about the Washington Commanders. How are they going to come out week 1? You know, they have all the talent in the world. You know, I'm very surprised at that. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do in Philly. With all now, Philly's going to have a lot of advantages because they're going to have a new offense that, you know, Washington's not really going to know. You know, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
I think each team has it. I mean, when you look at what the Giants have, I even get excited about that. I know their defense has some holes in it as well, but that's a really bright spot for that team and a very young offense. When you look at the stars that are playing on that offense, I think that's where your question marks are when it comes to the Giants, because obviously your main stars, your quarterback, injury, there. You got your running back, injury, there. Wide receiver, injury, there. It's like your only guys are your tight end, and I mean, you know, Likely's had his shit as well too. So, you know, with a new coaching staff coming in there, definitely getting some really good draft picks as well too. I think that defense, if you can be good enough, you're going to always keep your team in games. And right now, they've definitely invested a lot into that defense. So I'm interested to see, will that be the case? So yes, you can keep yourself into it, but are you going to be able to make any kind of playoff push? If you get in there, I think it's just one of those things. You're kind of one and done. You kind of stunt yourself in general. So I'm interested to see how this team takes that step forward, but. You could see themselves stunt their growth a little bit like they did a previous couple years ago. But yes, it was the same with you. Washington, that's going to be one of those ones where you're very sneaky, because when you look at all the moves that they made, when you look at the defense, they added some names. Now, are they all-star type of names? No, but do you know the names? Yes, that's the thing. When you start listing them off, it's not that they're stars and they're Pro Bowlers or anything, but you know the names, And so sometimes that is right there is a big thing in itself, because if you know the names as a rotational group, they could probably do some damage. And if one guy comes out, the other guy's going to go in there and probably play in the same type of level. Because when I look at those guys, Armstrong, all those guys, those are all in the same basic level where they would be a lot of backups for a lot of other teams, but good enough to be starters. It's kind of weird. It's kind of in that weird balance. I mean, when you look at like Dorrance Armstrong, you never look at him as, oh, he's going to be an all-star pro guy and everything, but he's a solid guy. If he has to come in there as a backup, he's not too bad. But but he's your starter. So I think that says a lot. So when you look at the rest of that team and what they've placed together, I think that says a lot too. But again, if they all of a sudden started playing well, that wouldn't surprise you. Philly, I think you're saying it correctly. You got a nice offense. In the sense of offensive minded in this quarterback, right? Coming in there as a offensive coordinator. So I think if anybody's going to be his first year to go and do something like that, that is probably one of the perfect positions to have played in the NFL, because you're going to be able to read defense, see what the defenses are trying to do to you after the first 2 or 3 drives. But then you're hoping that, that your talent alone on that offensive side will be able to counter maybe your inexperiences. So I'm interested to see how that offense is going to go. I expect it to be better. And whether AJ Brown, that absence is going to be as big of a burden as some fans do think. I think Lim is going to be a nice exchange for that. Now, do I expect him to put up those same numbers? No, but I definitely feel like he plays more into what Hurts' game is than what A.J. Brown did. And as much, at least bitching in the ear would be a big thing. But they got good tight ends. They got great wide receivers. So I expect that offense to be really good. Defense, we all knew that defense was pretty good. I mean, you got your 2 defensive tackles. So again, when you're looking at this whole division, I think if you're any team fan of any of these teams, I think you have a very, very bright spot to look forward to on your teams. And as us Cowboys, I don't think we're in any exception. We just went through this past hour and a half of what we get excited about in the sense of this team. So I'm sorry to go a little bit big-winded there, but that's the way I feel about this division.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really do hope all the teams are good. I think Giants will be pulling up the rear. I thought what I heard from Harbaugh was really cringy.
Yeah.
I think they're really cringy. No offense. I think the Giants are up and coming. I think they're going to be I don't know if you saw. Did you see the show, or did you see that I did a Giants?
Yes, I saw that. I saw the beginning part of it. I had to go and stuff, but like a great lineup. Great job. I saw that you guys.
Well, she was very good, man. I really see. She's the Mike Fisher of the New York Giants. She literally is a beat writer, Phil. So I was able to land her. She was very, again, she didn't give me a lot of time, but she had to go write. Yeah, Patricia is very good at what she does. She's been writing for 30 years, covering the Giants. And Pizzle's through the roof. He is through the roof for the New York Giants, and I'm happy for him. And then Big Dash, she's more reserved, kind of like me, but I'm expecting the floor to be raised, but I think the Giants are going to be. I think they're going to struggle out the gate. That's just me. I think they'll have some highs, but I think they're going to lose a lot of close games.
It's understandable.
But I think they did the right thing. Yeah, and that's just my opinion. I think they're going to be pulling up the rear. The big question mark is Washington. I think Eagles obviously have the highest floor. I think the Eagles come in with their defense. Hits the ground running with the least amount of questions. It'll be the offense, right? And I think
they're good
if you have a Saquon and you can run the ball, I think you're going to be in every game. So they're the benchmark, but Washington could throw a wrench in everything. but I think we're all going to beat the hell out of each other. I think it's going to come down to who can beat the Rams. Eagles have seemed to be able to beat the Rams. Eagles get to play them at home. We got to go to LA.
Hmm.
So, which I don't know that that's a big
It's
deal.
not a bad thing because we are like,
Yeah,
yeah, I agree.
yeah. But I mean, like who's gonna beat Seattle? Because we play a tough division. Dallas has to go to Seattle, right? Dallas gets the short straw usually all the time. We have to go to Seattle. So are they going to be able to win? Dallas has to go to Houston. These are games where those are going to be the games that decide who wins this division, not head to head. Because I think they'll all beat up on each other. I think Dallas, just on the surface, I think they'll split with the Eagles. I think they'll split with Washington, and maybe they'll sweep the Giants, but they didn't last year. So, I don't think it's a division as much that I'm worried about. It's all those other games. So I'm looking forward to it, Phil. There's a lot of work between now and that game one, though,
And you can
on
see
both
like
sides of the football.
yeah, and as we were talking about some of these names again, we're talking about how wide receivers, corners, some of these guys, you're going to see some people kind of get dropped off that you're going to love these names. They're going to go play for another team as well too. So I that's kind of what you're going to have to expect when you start to get finally some depth onto your team. And now whether those starters are any good, and that depth is going to have to come into that starter, and those starters become adept, that's going to be question marks. And I think that's where your camp battles are. But they are, as we talked about, we kind of went through there. There are going to be some camp battles. They might not necessarily be that starting position, but I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to try to make a name for themselves to be able to at least one, get in the roster or be in that starting position. And unfortunately, there are some ones like they talked about with Guyton where you expect a guy to be that guy, but hey, he could lose it as well too. So here we go into the season. All of a sudden, training camp starts this upcoming week, right?
Training camp, Dallas reports on the 27th. Right now, they're playing football. Like I said, they're practicing. The teams are playing a Hall of Fame game and such. But Dallas reports on the 27th, and the 29th is the first open practice. Can't wait. Expect a lot of content.
People move, yeah. Season.
And
hopefully everybody stays healthy.
I'm going to be holding my breath because that's what can derail you more than anything else. It's just like the stupid injuries, you want, and you can't avoid them, unfortunately. So you hope that we limit them. I see Aaron Donald is looking like he's coming back, so it just makes the road that much tougher, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I want a tough road. So if you're good, you're good. That's not going to be a problem, so let's go, baby. I am excited about this football season. Very excited.
So I obviously the next time we come in here, probably be a week from now, we'll talk about some of this training camp to what we've seen. Whether we'll jump on your channel throughout the week, but yeah, you should expect something back on Friday, Saturday of next week. As we continue to talk about this Cowboys team, the NFL, because I guess to be real, we can only talk so much about this team, so we really need to kind of broaden our search and kind of really start talking about the rest of the NFL because. Yay, this roster is not done, so we can need to really keep, we were talking about Brooks all season. You saw him get an extension for the Dolphins. So there's going to be a lot of news going into this training camp through all the teams. I'm really huge on hopefully everybody can kind of stay healthy. We don't have anything, and that's through all the teams. I wish it upon your team as well, too, if you're watching. So, Bryan, anything you want to say to the group before we get out of here?
No, just I would say this is the season of optimism. It's getting ready to go down, everybody. It's going to be fun. Again, I have to pinch myself because every year, last year it was such a miserable time, and we were holding out hope that we met. This year is just so much better. Like the upside is through the roof, but we do have the reality of what happened last year. So I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. But you got to pinch me because I feel like, man, we got the guys that we wanted to get in the draft. There's no more. I don't want to say no more excuses because that's a common thread. But I'm excited as I possibly could be for the season to start. I think.
Yeah.
You
Definitely a little
know,
better from last year.
and the Sixers got LeBron James.
LeBron James, I was gonna say your Sixers got LeBron.
Geez, live streaming coming probably this weekend, people.
I bet.
Sixers.
Yeah, so I appreciate everybody coming through. Working on these overlays. It's nice to get back out here. I made this one today. I made the CD Lamb one as well. So yeah, just a little bit more. Getting excited to get back into it, get back into the rhythm. But just again, seeing familiar faces, seeing that trash talking already starting up as well too. Again, everybody in the chat, don't take it personal. This is what we're here for. When it comes down to it, we're here for each other. And man, here we go. Football, man. Football is you can smell it. It's right around the corner. It's right there. So Brian, I appreciate you coming through. One thing I appreciate everybody forgetting not to do.
Ring that bell, everybody.
Yeah, everybody take care, guys.
Hey, we know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and I thought that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?